Last night we touched the skies, a blended mushrooms, I could feel it in my head. Ribs I had seen, we've been laughing all night. Drank till the last glass we could barely see. It was so brighter to see. The darkness is falling all over my face. Memories fading away like angry birds, reaching for a place where my voice will never reach. Can you hear my crying heart, reaching for the stars above the skies? My voice will never sound like it used to do, 'cause I can only cry for her one more night, for her one more night, yeah. Oh, for her one more night, yeah. Or I can only cry for her. At the hub we spoke about our future and the dreams to come. Plenty kisses we couldn't miss a count. We are like best friends, even God can deny that. We are a match made by him on a weekend when he was in the mood of making diamonds and many things that I like. And then to the angels who were singing that time, can you hear my crying eyes, reaching for those stars above the skies? My voice never sound like it used to do, 'cause I can only cry for her. Can you hear my crying eyes, reaching for the stars above the skies? My voice will never sound like it used to do, 'cause I can only cry for her one more night. Oh, for one more night, yeah. Oh, for one more night, yeah. Or I can only cry for her one more night. Oh, one more night, yeah. One more night. I can only cry for her one more night. Or I can only cry for her one more night.
Happy Women's Month and a very warm welcome to Ignite's Women in Africa virtual program. Today officially marks week one of the exciting 4-week virtual program for women across Africa on the career and leadership components, business development, and personal build branding. We've invited captains of industry to expertly engage with us on these topics through keynote addresses, masterclasses, workshops, as well as high-level panel discussions. My name is Vuyolwethu Dubese, your moderator for today, as we delve into expert matters covering career sponsorship, entrepreneurship, and SME advisory, and shining a spotlight on the challenges and opportunities of women-led and women-owned ventures across the continent. As we welcome Abiola to our virtual stage, a reminder that because we are coming to you live, that technical gremlins may creep into the system, whether it be on our end or on yours. So if you do and join us again. Our official hashtag is Women in Africa, and across our social media platforms, we are Hybr Group. That's HYBR. Happy Women's Month, and now a word from our sponsor, and Abiola Dixon Okoye, the business manager at Hybr Group. I'll hand it over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. It's really a good day today, and I want to say on behalf of Hybr and the Women in Africa Ignite program, we want to welcome everybody as being a part of the Women's Month South Africa. Today is the first day of our many events for Women's Month SA, and we're looking to have everyone be a part of this experience going forward. Ignite Women in Africa is here to support women through their professional careers, provide platforms to learn and grow their businesses, as well as their individual competencies in different areas, and also create a community where they could get support for whatever needs they have within their businesses as well. So thank you so much for being part of this program, and we look forward to seeing more and more of you guys within the program as well. Over to you, Vuyo. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Abiola. And certainly we are looking to be a part of August in the next few weeks, which will really encompass providing and building this community where we can support women as well as their ventures. That was Abiola Dixon Okoye, the business manager at Hybr Group, making sure why we have gathered here today, and of course what lies ahead for the next 4 weeks and beyond as we support women in Africa throughout this program. We now move to the heart of today's program and welcome Zizipho Nyanga, the Chief Entrepreneurship Officer at UBank South Africa. Zizipho is a qualified chartered accountant and with over 60 years experience in financial management, development finance, entrepreneurship, and external auditing. She's worked in various organizations, including the IDC, EY, and prior to her current role, spent 6 years at the Old Mutual Masisizane Fund, driving entrepreneurship development and funding SMEs across the country. She currently sits on the board of Adapt IT as a non-executive director and serves as the Chief Entrepreneurship Officer at UBank South Africa. And this captain of industry is a proud wife and mother, determined to create a world that empowers us to be consciously creative as we innovate and build our communities, our country, our continent, and our globe. Zizipho, truly honor to have you with us here today. We cannot wait to see how you inspire us and, of course, carry us along through your journey. I'll hand over the digital mic to you. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Vuyo. I'm very excited excited to be here. And I know in August, there's a lot of events and talks. I'm hoping that today we will have a conversation. I have picked a topic that is close to my heart. When I was asked to come and talk here and motivate entrepreneurs, I thought to myself, I would like to be more practical and talk about things that can help entrepreneurs really take something out of this hour that we're going to spend together and use those lessons for their day-to-day businesses. So I want to talk about growing your business in times of COVID. We are living in times of adversity. It's challenging left, right, and center, especially for entrepreneurs, especially for SMMEs. So it's important that we try and find the silver lining in the midst of it all. But before I zoom into the topic of today, I want to introduce myself by highlighting some of the interesting facts that Vuyo might not have had in the introduction. I am a very family-oriented woman. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, as Vuyo has said. I'm a chartered accountant, but a very unconventional one. Some people call us because I have chosen a path in my career that is seeking to revive the economy and also the participation of entrepreneurs by creating generational businesses, sustainable businesses that would last even beyond time. So I like to call myself an entrepreneur. In other words, I'm an entrepreneur that is stuck in corporate. Is a good thing because it's important for one to be passionate about entrepreneurship. I have been in entrepreneurship myself, and I'll also continue doing some stuff to really drive my passion there while I'm also in corporate, because it's important for us, those that are helping entrepreneurs from the corporate side of things, to understand the challenges that entrepreneurs are facing. I'm also very passionate about personal development and coaching those that are coming behind me, and also latching on to those that have walked the path that I want to walk ahead of me. So it's important for me to always see myself in the middle and making sure that I don't leave those behind me as a leader, but also I latch on to the wise that are ahead of me in business and also in corporate. I'm very proud, and I think one message I want to leave here is that Black excellence and also women empowerment is something that is critical, but we must be conscious of not leaving men and boys behind, because we are mothers of boys, we are sisters of brothers, we also, some of us are married to men. So it's important in driving the agenda of women in this Women's Month to also remember that we don't exist in a... So with that in mind, I also want to then zoom in into the point about Black excellence. You will see that there are a number of believable role models that exude the confidence that we all aspire. I have put on the slides examples of older generations in the sorry, I hope you can hear me. You will also see on the slide a very young man who runs a brand called Batu. The reason why I wanted to show this picture is to reflect that if we look around us, we need not look at people that are in the media or that are far-fetched. If you look around you, you can probably find believable role models. You can probably find people that have done great things in business, in corporate, that you can look up to. You can also look at the resources that we have on the internet and get all the help that you need on how to run a business successfully or how to succeed in corporate if you are in corporate. So the Batu brand, he's also wearing a Makosa brand, is a reflection of how, as Africans across the whole continent, we're starting to have pride in what we are doing, and we are creating generational businesses such that even if we are no longer on this earth, our businesses continue. Hence the inspiration by Ntate Maponya. The other example I wanted to show you was that of Siba Mtongana, who is a global icon in terms of the food industry, and how she has successfully diversified her portfolio, first embedding it on education and doing a degree in food and nutrition science, and also venturing into chef, being a trained chef, and now running a portfolio that is consisting of diverse revenue streams. It's not only the restaurant, it's not only the books, it's a number of things that she is doing to create generational wealth. Those are the examples that I thought would be ideal for me to share today, to just give hope to entrepreneurs that might be feeling like giving up, to entrepreneurs that are feeling like the COVID-19 lockdown and the impact of the recent riots in Gauteng and KZN might have destabilized you as an entrepreneur. If you look at the Batu brand, they are busy opening a number of retail stores in the midst of adversity. So there is always that saying that says, even the dark cloud has a silver lining. The question is, if you are failing right now, firstly, you need to then tell yourself that failure is part of success. For you to be seen to be doing something, you need to be willing to fail forward. Entrepreneurship is really about failing forward. You're going to fail because you are trying a number of things. If you are not failing, it means you are playing it safe. It means that you're not doing as much as you should be doing. You are more comfortable in your comfort zone. And there's a saying that I like most that says, comfort zone is an enemy of growth. So I want to encourage the people that have been negatively affected by the impact of COVID lockdown and also the recent riots in Gauteng and KZN in the SMME space to say, pull your socks up, pick yourself up and say, this is not going to deter me from moving forward. Failure is indeed part of success. As you see on the picture that I'm sharing here, if you were to just be stuck on the things that are not working, you would not necessarily move to the step towards success. So it's important then to have those principles. And the DNA of an entrepreneur is someone who's very courageous, who's very resilient. You wake up on a daily basis trying to figure out how to make things work. I had an interesting discussion with a friend of mine recently in the last week or two when I was talking about some things that are happening in the corporate space, corporate politics, and all that comes with being in corporate. And I was asking how it is on the entrepreneurship side. She left a corporate 2 years ago, and she was telling me, you know what, entrepreneurship is very fulfilling. You do what you want to do, but you have to be disciplined, to be consistent and committed in what you are doing on a regular basis. Otherwise, you're not going to survive as an entrepreneur. So as much as one could say, I have a toxic environment at work, I have a bad boss, I want to jump ship and go to entrepreneurship, that is not the motivation that must push you to become an entrepreneur. Because when you get to the entrepreneurship side of things, you will realize that there are more failures before the actual successes. With the people that I've shared as believable role models, what you see as Siba Mtongana, you don't see behind the scenes and the years that she has taken to build that brand. What you see in Batu, you don't see the work that has been done behind the scenes to get to the success that you see in front of you. So entrepreneurship is about failure and success just depends on you as a person. So what do you do if you were stuck and feeling like giving up? I think for me, my motto, which has helped me both in entrepreneurship and also in corporate, is to understand that Zizipho, whatever got you here is not necessarily what is going to get you to the next level. So I have to continuously invest in myself, invest in personal growth, innovate how I do things, whether I am employed or I employ others. So we must not tire as entrepreneurs from innovating ourselves, improving our craft and evolving and changing things. And what works must remain working, but you need to know that change is constant. There is this word that people like about pivoting. I want to focus more on the word reinvent, which basically means the same thing. And the steps that I'm showing here on the slides talk about really moving forward. And there's a research that has been done about happiness being linked to someone making progress. So as you are embarking on this journey of reinventing yourself, I think it's important to understand that you are no man is an island. You are not alone. You cannot succeed on your own. I mean, rarely can someone say, I made it to this level on my own, right? No one helped me. I had nothing else, no one made me, nothing. So the quote I want to leave you with is that success or failure is directly linked to your actions. It's guaranteed. You're either gonna succeed in life or you're gonna fail. It's all up to you. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is responsible for you. Even if you are married or you are a child of someone, whatever it is, you came on this earth alone. You are your own responsibility. If you want to be successful, you will be successful based on the actions that you take on a daily basis. If you are a failure in whatever area of your life, look at the daily actions and the habits that you embark on and see whether you can change a thing or two. I think that the point about success is that success is not only measured in financial terms. You can define what success looks like for you. But what I want to leave you with from today is that no man is an island. Invest in mentors, and mentors don't need to be physical. You can be mentored by Oprah by just looking at the videos, watching the videos on YouTube or reading her books or whatever. You can be mentored by the president by just reaching out and hearing what it is that he's talking about if you are interested in politics. You can get motivation elsewhere. You can also pay a coach, an executive coach, whether you are in leadership or not. Entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. What you can do for yourself as a favor is to pay someone to listen to your problems and advise you, because two heads are better than one. You might be struggling about something and you're thinking is the biggest issue. And then someone says, but no, man, Zizipho, have you looked at this and this and that? And only to find out that there is a solution. So I really want to emphasize that success is a teamwork. You need to be clear on your vision. You need to understand what it is that you want to do out of your life and which resources are available in terms of people, tools, and also the resources that are available to you as a whole. So moving on then, as I conclude this talk, I really wanted to leave you with tips on how you can unlock your business growth. I think it's very important for me to be practical about this thing and say, we are all impacted one way or another by the impact of by COVID. So in the context of entrepreneurs, someone who's ready to give up, things are not working, you've had to close down, you need to pull your socks up again and start all over again. These are the tips that I want to leave you with. And when you are back at home or you have time, look at these questions and these points that I'm sharing and just unpack it for yourself. Firstly, who are your customers? Are you one of those entrepreneurs that is trying to be jack of all trades and master of none? Is everyone your customer? Everyone who comes to you and say, please help me with this, you are helping them, only to find out that if you are in logistics, you are taking a job that's 500 kilometers away. And by the time you come back from delivering those goods, all the profit that you would have made if you unpacked what the job actually is about and what the customer is about, you will have lost all that profit along the way. So define your customer in terms of geographic profile, the income that they earn, and the price that they're willing to pay. And number two is probably one of the most important things that I've realized in my experience about entrepreneurship. A lot of people will say, be passionate. Maybe you are a good baker or you are good with manufacturing a product, whatever product it is. And you haven't asked yourself that the problem you're solving, is it profitable or not? Are people willing to pay for your product or service? Let's say you are passionate about walking people down the road. I'm just making a silly example. Yes, you're passionate about looking at elderly people struggling to cross the road, and you think, let me start a business and take these elderly people to the shop and help them cross the road. Is that profitable, or is it something that you're passionate about? Answering the question of whether you're profitable or not in the problem that you're solving will determine whether you're running a non-profit organization, a social enterprise, or a commercial business. And also, number three, what is driving your cost base? Are you taking a huge salary out of your business when the business can't actually afford that salary? Are you renting an office in the most expensive area of Africa or South Africa, and yet you could actually cut down on rent and work from home, especially with COVID-19 having shown us that we can work from home? So analyze your cost base and see the people that you have. Can you do with less people? Can you do with less rent? Can you cut your salary until things get to normalization? Then number four is about revenue streams. I made an example earlier about one of the entrepreneurs that I spoke about, to say there are different revenue streams that she's driving. And if you started entrepreneurship and you only had one revenue stream and you think it's going to make you a millionaire, or COVID happens and all of a sudden you are a public speaker or an events person, and there can be no events, there can be no public gatherings, all of a sudden you are in trouble if you haven't diversified your revenue streams. So those people that had diverse revenue streams, when one tap closed, the other remained opened, and therefore they are the ones that survived this COVID pandemic. Then the other one is pricing. I made an example of taking a job, and in the entrepreneurship space, someone would be excited of getting a contract with government or even the enterprise and supply development programs of corporates, and price themselves below what they're supposed to price, only to find out they've done a job, and at the end of the day, there is nothing in the bank account because the pricing was wrong. Is your business, number six, is your business volume driven? Do you need to invest in economies of scale? Can you collaborate with others? Can you get people across the country to get your products and services closer to your customers? Number seven, are you learning from your mistakes? there's a number of mistakes that you're going to make as an entrepreneur. Are you learning from your mistakes, or you are jack of all trades, not employing anyone else? You are busy, having an attitude that says, I know it all. The person who knows it all, the person who blames others, the person who doesn't learn from their mistakes is likely to all the time go on the same cycle of failure, because they are not reinventing themselves, they're not learning from mistakes, they're not changing and evolving to make sure that they succeed learning from those mistakes. Number 8, I cannot overemphasize this, guys. Cash is king. With all the things that you have done from number 1 to number 7, cash flow management for entrepreneurs is very important. Yes, you could be making a profit, but what is in the bank account? Are you generating cash? And if you have generated cash, are you having a lazy balance sheet and looking at the cash in the bank account and not using that cash to your advantage as an entrepreneur? So manage your cash flow. Working capital is part of it. Investing in things that are going to generate new and additional revenue streams is another way of using your cash wisely. Investing in other businesses that are complementary to what you're doing is another way. I cannot overemphasize the importance of cash flow management for SMMEs. Build relationships and collaborate. No man is an island. I've already shared that tip. If you think you're going to go do it alone, you're probably going to be far. There is a proverb that talks about that. If you want to be fast, you can do it alone. But if you want to go far, you can collaborate with others and play according to their strengths. There's a book that I'm reading that talks about strengths. I would really recommend entrepreneurs to read books, and I will share them as part of the comments later after this live, that if you read a lot of books and you look at a number of resources, you can really improve yourself as an entrepreneur and avoid some of the problems that might happen. So in the point around collaboration, you would be able to deal with the partnership risk. Are you partnering with the wrong people that are not necessarily aligned to a vision? You need to look at those things. Lastly, once you've done all these things that I've shared here, please build yourself a roadmap of the journey to recovery. Plan, prioritize, and stay focused on the bigger picture of what it is that you are doing as an entrepreneur. If things are not going well, don't be in denial. Look at the realistic picture of what is possible, but be willing to ask for help. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I really wish you all the best in the journey of entrepreneurship. As I said, it can be a lonely one, but as I have highlighted, a number of people are starting to realize the importance of playing according to our strengths and also collaborating with others. With those words, I hope you have really taken a number of nuggets from what I've shared with you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Vuyo.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Zizipho. And I think so many gems really coming from this. I think for me, one of the few was, the importance of failing fast and failing forward. Because I think what has happened and the impact of COVID has really impacted businesses and even individuals. To really sometimes stay in that rut of failure. And it's so important to really take up the sum of your life and the sum of success. And as to your point that it is subjective, right? And I think you cannot do it alone in order to build this resilience. And of course, the echoing words of that, you've only come this far to come this far, right? So you've not come this far to only come this far, which I think is just so critical to how we apply ourselves, not only as business owners, but I think the business as a separate entity themselves. And I think clearly a masterclass in business development and growth, and we will definitely pick on that in the next coming minutes. There are three particular themes that I really want to highlight for the session, and the first being career sponsorship and the role that mentors and, to your point, role models and sponsors have really played in this mapping of journey that you've highlighted. And secondly, I want us to speak to the core of the challenges for entrepreneurs and those that do support entrepreneurs, and alongside the organizations that you've had the pleasure of working with, from the IDC to now UBank South Africa, and really envelope it with what I like to call has become this risk on investment when it comes to gender lens or gender smart investing. And of course, I think it would be amiss of us to not highlight that, being it Women's Month here in South Africa. So as we journey through your career, being an entrepreneur and being an entrepreneur as well, your early memory, if you can share, of a mentor and of a sponsor that really had a significant role in catalyzing your career to where you are right now. And I think most importantly, how that relationship began.
Thanks, Vuyo. My earliest memory of mentorship is with my parents, actually. When they saw that I am really passionate about business and making money, they nurtured that talent in me, giving me pocket money and letting me handle money the best way I thought, even at 12 years old. So a decision they took was for me to embark on the chartered accountancy route. At the time, I didn't even know what chartered accountancy is. And because I was good at accounting and maths, I really then went ahead with that. So I was lucky because whatever my parents had a vision for me, it's something that really I was passionate about from a young age. Beyond my mother and my father as pioneers and role models in my life, I would really say teachers. There was a particular teacher. We were failing maths at some point early on, back in the rural areas in the Eastern Cape. At some point, a teacher said to me, "You will amount to nothing because your maths is so poor." Bear in mind, I thought I was the cleverest, and all of a sudden I was failing maths. So the resilience and the belief and all those values that were instilled in me by my parents helped me to not really listen to that teacher. There were other teachers then that were very much supportive of the growth accounting teacher, Ms. Ndamase, and another one, maths teacher who has since passed away. Along my journey, even training as part of qualifying as a CA, there were a number of people that I really latched on that took an interest in my career. And the one thing about people taking interest in your career, it's all dependent on you as an individual. So if you are coming across as eager to learn and eager to make a difference, people are going to be interested in helping you along. So I've had a number of mentors, not just one mentor, because not one person can give you everything. I've got different mentors in terms of race, age, gender, and I've dropped some expired mentors along the way as well. And in terms of sponsorship, I've really had good bosses, except for one. I was very lucky to have good bosses, both male and female, good bosses that have spoken in rooms on my behalf when I wasn't there.
Absolutely, and I think that really is the transition, and I think the very heart of these kinds of relationships is that you have to show up, right? And I think in order for them to advocate for you in these rooms where you sit in and to be represented in these rooms, you have to bring your ethic, you have to bring your work and capabilities, and do that self-promotion on top of the promotion that is being done for you on behalf of your career sponsors. So definitely something that is super important in that. And I think in this day and age, Zizipho, because of social media and technology, we have access to such a plethora of resources, and owing to months in South Africa like August and International Women's Month in March globally, there's all of these resources and conversations like the one that we're having right now, that if you were mentoring, for example, a 28-year-old who is an intrapreneur, an entrepreneur, a side hustler, who's tuning in right now and wanting to become, the next Zizipho, or to tap into her creative conscious, what resources, 2 or 3, that you'd identify for them to join, be it a book that you mentioned, and as you mentioned, because we do have access to everything because of the internet?
So first, I would say to that 20-year old revenue stream in addition to your salary if you are employed. And secondly, I would say stop trying to be another Zizipho. You are yourself. There's only one 20-year-old named so-and-so. And there's only one Zizipho, right? So it's important for us to understand who we are and what we are trying to achieve in our lifetime. I think there are a number of tools out there. YouTube has a number of videos that are teaching us a number of things, leadership skills. You can Google everything that you want to know. So there is no excuse at all in terms of not developing yourself in terms of your personal growth. There are mentors out there, there are coaches out there, and there are people around you, whether they are your friends or your colleagues or your bosses, that have something to bring, just like you also have something to bring. So I would say to that 28-year-old, just do me a favor, be curious. And maybe when you become curious, you will find something that you are passionate about that can actually make you a success, depending on what you define success is for yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that last point is very, very important because of the pressures of the internet, right? I think there's all of these social media platforms, which people perceive that, success is this ingredient or this product that you can put in a microwave and suddenly after 30 seconds, it's cooked to perfection.
Yes, microwave generation.
Absolutely, but there's so many years, there's so many sacrifices, there's so many failures that really are behind the scenes that we don't have the opportunity to see unless we do have these kinds of conversations. Now, you yourself are a personal growth and leadership mentor, and I'm going to take advantage of your website, which is ziziphonyanga.co.za, where you offer this coaching. Now, if someone were to go onto your website and fill in the form and is really captured by your journey and would love to be mentored by you, take me through the process of how you would facilitate this session and of course what you would expect from potential mentees.
So that was inspired by me seeing a number of people requesting me to be their mentors. And what I learned quickly in my career is that accountability is very important in a mentorship relationship. So I would find people just rocking up. Firstly, you can't just rock up at someone and say, please be my mentor. Based on what? Based on you seeing them at an event and they're talking. You need to understand what is it that resonates with you about them. So in my case, I'm passionate about 2 things. Entrepreneurship, let us create rather than just consume. And the second thing is leadership skills. Whether you're in corporate or you are in running your own business, you need to lead yourself first before thinking that you can lead others, before wanting others to see you as a reputable leader. So those are the key principles that I really established this mentorship program to really say, if you want to go far in life, you have to be accountable and be willing to put in the work. The work really is around having clarity of what the problem is. Where are you right now in terms of the trouble or the struggle that you have? Where are you going to be if you consider yourself successful at it? And then I come in the middle to try and help you direct exactly the actions and the habits and the things that you might be doing, because we all have blind spots. You might be going like this with blinkers, thinking what got you here is what is going to get you to the next level. And then it takes an independent, objective person like me to say, have you considered this? Have you considered that? But it's important for you, Vuyo, to be clear about what the problem is and what your vision is for the future.
Absolutely. And again, I do implore everyone to go to ziziphonyanga.co.za, where you can take in what you've learned right now and take in the particular steps, right, around what it is exactly that you want to be mentored on, and the team will input the link in the chat for you. Now, Zizipho, you're not only a mentor to young professionals, but your role at UBank South Africa also requires you to mentor, to support, to finance entrepreneurs. And I must admit, I am quite intrigued at the title of Chief Entrepreneurship Officer. What does this role encompass, and particularly within a South African bank like UBank?
So UBank is a bank that has predominantly been in the mining sector. We have taken a decision to embark on a strategy that diversifies and grows a UBank beyond mining. And we are venturing into open markets, which includes SMME and also servicing people outside the miners that UBank was established with in mind. So my role as a Chief Entrepreneurship Officer really revolves around identifying opportunities that will help UBank diversify its products and also grow its revenue streams and service the customers accordingly. So within that portfolio, there's the servicing of SMMEs and ensuring that we can help people develop businesses and hire or employ other people so that the economy of South Africa can really flourish.
And you speak quite passionately about entrepreneurship growth and being owed not only to business support, but also to venture financing, right? And in its entirety, venture building. Now, you've written checks from millions to thousands, from the industrial sector to financial services. And my question is really twofold in that the 2 to 3 things that you would identify or you would speak to entrepreneurs that they should spend their time doing if they are preparing to become investor ready and receiving checks, whether from the public or the private sector, and also how industry itself could enable this investor readiness.
So entrepreneurs need to understand that a lot of funders and people that are offering financial assistance, they will want to know what is your plan. So you can call it a business plan or a business proposal, whatever it is. The fact remains, if you're walking into a financial institution and you're looking for funding, entrepreneurs need to be able to articulate what the business is about, similar to the tips that I shared earlier. Who is your customer? Is this thing profitable? You might not be a chartered accountant and not understand how to build a financial model or budget, what it is that's required for your business. But you can certainly, as a CEO of that enterprise, as an entrepreneur, say, I'm going to sell these apples. If I buy the apples at 5 Rand and I'm selling them at 20 Rand, these are the costs for the people that I'm going to employ. And therefore, it means this is the amount of money that I will be left with. So basic understanding of what your business is about so that you can do an elevator pitch and say, if I bump into Zizipho in a lift and I hear that she works for a financial institution that offers funding, I must be able to tell her that this is my business, this is the funding I need, this is what I'm going to use it for. The other thing is, second thing I want to highlight is entrepreneurs need to understand the mandate of the financial institutions that they are approaching. Mm-hmm. Time is money for everyone, especially for entrepreneurs. You can imagine how much time is wasted knocking at different doors only to find out that the person that you're looking, the organization that you're looking for funding from doesn't offer purchase order finance, or doesn't offer working capital. They're only focusing on this. So you need to understand what is it that they are offering and target the institutions that are likely to assist you. If you are an entrepreneur that is manufacturing products that are used by corporates, perhaps you've got a better chance of approaching enterprise and supplier development programs of those corporates because they are willing to give you patient funding and also access to markets. And therefore, you've already ticked a number of things that are going to make your business much more likely to succeed.
Now, Zizipho, I want to stay within the realms of corporate and the realms of funding, because you yourself are an entrepreneur who's also in corporate. And there currently exists this strong agenda of leaving corporate, and that being the only validated route to establishing a business. Talk me through to your decision to starting Makoti Assist. And I know that there's an interesting story of you deciding not to go full time as an entrepreneur.
Yes, actually, when I left my previous employer last year, I was actually on a journey to become a full-time entrepreneur myself. A number of things changed along the way, including COVID-19 and some requirements and my health at the time. So I really am passionate about creating generational businesses, creating something, out of nothing. The point about the work that I do at UBank currently is it helps me cultivate what I'm passionate about. From an entrepreneurship point of view, I am an entrepreneur myself. I'm helping entrepreneurs sort of thrive in their sector. Makoti Assist, on the other side, is a social enterprise that I run. I am a modern Makoti myself. I'm married to a Xhosa guy. I'm Xhosa. There are a number of requirements that are put on our shoulders, let alone that we are ambitious women in corporate, and there is a number of expectations upon us. So I figured I was really struggling to meet my requirements as a Makoti back home with my in-laws. And I thought that I'm not the only one, only to find out there are a number of people that really need help. And there are a number of rural women that have no jobs and they really know how to do the stuff and they want to put food on the table. So fighting the superwoman syndrome that causes mental illness for most of us, with the fact that you need to satisfy the need of creating jobs for others, is what really inspired me to do that.
Now, there's a 42 billion financing gap for women on the continent. And surprisingly, we're also the highest female entrepreneurship activity in the world. And I think as we get ready to close, I'm a big advocate for peer networking. And so how do we as women and the women who are tuning in and who are going to be part of this program collectively and individually actively participate to economically empower one another? Is that through entrepreneurship or what, using a Facebook account? What is something that you can recommend to the next women to say, this is how you could actively support your sister?
So I think we can support each other wherever we are, whether we're in corporate or whether we are in entrepreneurship. It's important to be curious and understand what is Vuyolwethu doing, what is her job, where is she in the economy. And when we are gathering in baby showers or wherever, we must talk about what it is that we do for a living. That way, it's part of the conversation. We're not necessarily gossiping about people or talking about things that are not going to build us. We're talking about opportunities and we're talking about things that we do on a daily basis. You will find opportunities actually lie within your circle before you even look at other people. Someone might argue and say your friends and your family may not be the ones that help you because there's dynamics. I don't want to open another can of worms, but at least try with your circle and see if you need support with looking for funding. Do you know that Zizipho works in a financial institution that offers funding? Do you know where Vuyolwethu works that can help you unlock the problem that you are talking about? And also the importance of relationship and networking, as I said in the tips earlier. Please expand your network. Look at your phone after this live and check, audit your phone book and check who is on your phone book. Are the people that you are mingling with, is your company the company that's worth keeping, that is going to help you realize your vision? Are you also the kind of a person that people want around? Are you a toxic person, or are you a person that really can help others as well, so that it's a mutually beneficial relationship? I always say relationships are like bank accounts. You can't always withdraw without depositing.
Yes.
You have to deposit, you have to invest, and then withdraw sometimes, deposit sometimes. So I would say all of us must really invest in networking, whatever works for you. I'm an introvert. I work better in one-on-one situations, but I've learned to get out of my shell and network outside my introverted friends and be more open to those that are louder than I am and talk about things that are going to build me.
Absolutely. Taking an active interest, talking money as we convene, and then I think really building relationships, and most importantly, nurturing those relationships. Zizipho, I have been given 30 seconds by the power that be to wrap up the session today. But as we wrap up, if you had a billboard to those who have the resources and the capabilities to fund entrepreneurs, and especially those who are underrepresented, what would your billboard say? And most importantly, where would you put your billboard?
My billboard would say, just start. Don't overanalyze it. It would be on the everywhere. I don't want to say on the freeway because most of us are at home, but it would be everywhere. It would pop up on the phones, the mobile phones. I think it's an area, telecoms, financial services, fintech, and those sectors are really sectors. Financial services are really sectors that are very sustainable and will always be required. So I would say on everyone's phone, it pops up and say, just start. Don't overanalyze it.
Absolutely. Just start. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it brings us to the end of what has been a phenomenal day one and week one of Ignite's Women in Africa virtual program with Zizipho Nyanga, the Chief Entrepreneurship Officer at UBank South Africa. Join us again on August 12th, masterclass and a panel discussion on brand building practices for your business personal brands. Visit www.womensmonth.co.za, www.womensmonth.co.za for more information and ensuring that you are registered. I am Vuyolwethu Dubese, and an absolute pleasure it has been to be your moderator for today. Goodbye.